We're not actually filling it with water. We are filling it with an antifreeze mixture. So water freezes, so you don't want to use water. My name is Brian, this is Final Farms. This is the tire that we changed in our last video. And we have deflated it and reinflated it and made sure the inner tube is seated okay. So we're gonna take the valve stem out with our, make sure you don't lose that. Super handy dandy. I totally made this valve stem remover tool out of a bolt and a wheel grinder. I do it, I deflate it with the weight on the tractor still, and then we're gonna jack it up and fill it. You'll need some sort of antifreeze type fluid. One of the things you wanna look for is try not to find ethanol versions. They make some of them with alcohol, and that can be hard on your rubber. Probably won't make a huge difference, but it's something to keep in mind. You don't wanna do this very often, and you don't wanna roach out your brand new tube that you just put in there. So we're gonna let that sink. Now what we use is this handy dandy little tool from Tractor Supply. It's got a little bleeder valve on top, a hose bib on the back, and it's got a bunch of different fittings so you can fit it over your valve stem depending on what type you have, what size, things like that. I also use a sump pump in a 5-gallon bucket. If you have a different type of pump, and you have just the little hose that fits over the valve stem, you can use one like that. I don't. The sump pump is something I already have, so we're gonna use that. Now, I live in Virginia. I don't need the super concentrated version of this stuff. It really doesn't get much below 15 to 10 degrees here. So I don't use it at full concentration. I dilute mine. You'll have to decide with where you are and where you live, what temperature you need to do. A good rule of thumb when you're filling these up is put your valve stem here at the top, and as you're filling it, this is your bleeder button, and when eventually this spits out fluid, you know that your line's right about here. Disconnect your hose, disconnect your pump, and then hold this down and do it until you don't get any more water out of here. And what that will do is give you a fluid line about there, which leaves you room for air and expansion, which is always a good idea. You don't want this completely full. We have our 5-gallon bucket here full of our antifreeze. Set our sump pump down inside. I have a small 15-foot section of hose just for this purpose. That way I know I'm not wasting a bunch of my fluid filling up hoses. Now I have roughly 2 buckets worth of antifreeze, so we're gonna let this one drain down, and then we'll refill the bucket as we go. Sometimes while you're doing this, you can just push this button to let some of the pressure out, because as this is filling, the air that was left in the tube is gonna want to expand. So what I like to do is empty the 5-gallon bucket, bleed it, refill the bucket, bleed it, and we'll go from there. I've heard of some people using beet juice. I've never found beet juice to be cheaper than antifreeze, so maybe if I was a beet farmer, but I'm not. Then once we get all the antifreezes in there, I'm gonna take my hose and just fill the bucket as the sump pump is going. And that will get me the rest of my fluid. You can also hear it filling. So when you hear the splashing start to get up around the top, that's another way you know it's getting full. You can see we got a lot of pressure back here. So I'm gonna turn this off. You'll hear it kind of hiss. And we can push that button. You can also just all right, I'm pretty sure we're close. Yep, see that? Perfect. Make sure you didn't lose your valve. Ballast, that extra weight helps a lot with traction, especially when things get muddy. And there you have it. Top off your pressure, and you are good to go. My name is Brian, this is Flannel Farms. Thanks for watching. See you next time.